Vice Chair Lippy Pratt, Superintendent Gray Young, Assistant Superintendent Dr. Latoya Dixon, and Flint Hill Elementary School Principal Michelle Greitz. I will begin with sharing some details that led up to the closure and an explanation of how we implemented our reunification process today. The Superintendent and Board Chair will share a few comments, and we will close with some of your questions. Last night, the superintendent and we believe other individuals received a report from a community member that there could have been an incident taking place at Silfab Solar. Possible concerns taking place at this site to 911. Early this morning at approximately 8:50 a.m., the superintendent contacted York County Emergency Management to determine if any reports had been made and if there was an active issue taking place at the site. We were initially informed that there was no active issue ongoing. The superintendent received a call at 6:53 from York County Emergency Management that there was a minor leak at the plant, and they indicated that they did not believe that this presented a danger to the community. However, they could not confirm this with absolute certainty until they arrived on site. Therefore, the district made the decision to close Flint Hill Elementary School for the day as a precaution. At the time of the decision, the building was not open to students yet. Staff and parents were immediately notified of the closure, and the district began implementing reunification process for students who had utilized bus transportation that morning. Buses were transported to Pleasant Knoll Middle School. Staff and district staff and Flint Hill Elementary staff went to Pleasant Knoll Middle School to assist with the reunification for the students. We began dismissing students to their parents shortly after 9 a.m. this morning. We were able to serve breakfast and lunch to these students as they waited to be dismissed, provided by our student nutrition department. Approximately 300 students were dismissed to their parents safely through our reunification process that took place at Pleasant Knoll Middle School today. At this time, Superintendent Young will share a few remarks, and he will be followed by Board Chair Spears. I apologize. I might have said 8:50 this morning with the first call to York County Emergency Management. It was at 5:50 a.m. this morning.
All right, good afternoon. First of all, I want to thank our students and parents for their patience and their cooperation this morning. We apologize for the inconvenience and the unease the closure has caused our families and staff. To Principal Michelle Greitz and her amazing administration and staff, I want to thank you for your positive response and your leadership with our students this morning. I would also like to thank our transportation department, our school safety department, school nutrition, and the countless members of our district staff that helped with the reunification process. Our district also appreciates the assistance we received from the Fort Mill Police Department, the York County Sheriff's Department, York County Emergency Management, as well as our Board of Trustees members. Interestingly enough, I was in Columbia this morning to testify in support of Representative Martin's bill that is related to this issue. But given these events, I returned to Fort Mill before I had the opportunity to testify. Representative Martin did read my statement. Here are some of the points that I had planned to make at the hearing. In education, our primary responsibility is to ensure a safe and healthy learning environment for every student. We currently have a new elementary school in operation and a middle school opening later this year, both located adjacent to a manufacturing facility that the Board of Zoning Appeals has ruled was improperly zoned. Our district has dedicated significant staff hours and taxpayer resources towards safety initiatives to mitigate related safety concerns. The urgency of this issue was underscored on Tuesday and again this morning, when within weeks of receiving its certificate of occupancy, this facility experienced a chemical spill and a chemical leak on site. Today's events caused the district to close Flint Hill Elementary School as a precautionary measure. These incidents have caused significant concern among our parents and our community and have disrupted our school operations. Based on this, the district is calling for a complete and immediate shutdown of the Silfab Solar facility. We understand that South Carolina Department of Environmental Services has issued a directive to Silfab Solar to cease all operations by 4 p.m. today. At this time, I would like to turn it over to Chairwoman Spears, who has some additional remarks.
Thank you. On behalf of the board, I want to reiterate our appreciation to all the groups that Superintendent Young mentioned. This has been a true team effort, and our thanks go to the superintendent and his team who have led us through these challenges of the last few days with calm and strong leadership. We know this is a difficult time for the community. Understandably, the emotions and frustrations are very high at this moment, as they are for all of us. We have continued to work with the regulatory agencies that have oversight and authority regarding the safe operation of this plant. It is our responsibility to provide a safe and healthy environment for our students. And in light of these events, it is imperative that the regulatory agencies take swift action to protect our students and our staff. The school board fully supports the directive issued today for this facility to immediately cease all operations. Thank you.
Before I open it up to questions, I would like to mention that a decision regarding at this time, we are continuing to assess the situation as we receive updates. We'll make announcements regarding that as soon as possible. At this time, I'm going to open it up for questions. If you don't mind, please raise your hand. I will call on you for your question. And keep in mind that the district can only answer questions about district operations. We're not able to answer questions about emergency response, permitting, zoning, or operations of commercial facilities. Yes, sir.
Andrew Dice, the Herald, Rock Hill, thank you for having me today. I think it's important that you go over again the timeline about when the Fort Mill School District was first told about today's incident, today's spill, leak, call it what you will. We need to know, the public needs to know, when was the school district told about it, when was the decision made to close the school, and why was there any kind of time lapse in between 1 to 2?
Yes, so I'll begin first with when we received the report, it was during the middle of the night, we received the report from
Who is we?
the superintendent, as I said in here, the superintendent received a report from a community member that there may be an issue ongoing at Silfab Solar.
May I interrupt?
Sure.
Did the school district or the superintendent contact law enforcement and say, we have received this message?
No, the superintendent did not send that message on through. As it was said, the individual was advised to send their message to 911, which is the proper authority to report these instances to. The superintendent has absolutely no authority, and the district has absolutely no authority to dispatch anyone, to put anybody in place to handle this situation. That is what 911 is for, and York County Emergency Management is for. Anytime that there is a situation like this, that is who should be reported to. Having said that, that was shared with the member that they should report this to 911. We were not clear whether that actually happened, which is why we reached out to York County Emergency Management at 5:50 a.m. this morning to see if there were any reports and if in fact those reports were real. During that call, we were told that, I'll read this again, York County Emergency Management informed us that there was no active issue at the site at 5:50 a.m. We continued to make updates and checks and have conversations as a school district. We got the superintendent received an additional call at 6:53 a.m. from York County Emergency Management. At that time, they confirmed there was a minor leak at the plant, and they indicated that it did not believe it presented a danger to the community. However, they could not confirm that until they arrived on site at Silfab.
It begs the question, who told York County Emergency Management, if they weren't there, that there was a leak this morning?
That would have to be a question for York County Emergency Management. I can't answer that question for you. The school district called to ask if there have been any reports.
They told you, they told you at 6:53 there was a minor leak at the plant.
Absolutely.
Someone had to tell them that.
I think you need to ask them that question, who told them that? Again, we are not the reporting agency. We are dealing with our school sites.
Okay.
They would have to answer the question how they made that determination. Because again, they told us there was not an active incident and then later told us there was. So what happened between that window that they investigated to find out there was would have to be answered by York County Emergency Management. Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk through why classes were canceled today and not also on Tuesday when we had that much larger spill? And were there conversations after that of what are we going to do if something like this happens again? What if we another closure?
Yes, in regards to the Tuesday situation that happened, at that time, we were in immediate contact with York County Emergency Management when we learned of the issue. They were very clear at that time. They knew what the spill was, they knew what the contaminant was, and that this did not pose a concern to the community. They were on site at the time of providing that information to us, whereas this time around, we were not able to get that concrete confirmation. So that was the reason for allowing the school to continue to operate, because at that time, we had clear and concrete information that it was safe to do so at the time. Yes, sir.
Hey, Michael with WTV. We have a stop in operations at Silfab. Does that mean testing will continue at the school, air, ground tests?
Yes,
What does that monitoring look like, and any testing that will continue or stop?
Yes, our commitment that we've done, performed with Citadel EHS is ongoing. The 24-hour continuous air quality monitoring equipment has actually been in place since January and operating. We still have the schedule that we'll be working out for the periodic testing that goes along with that. Actually, we have already be coming on the calendar here very shortly, the next round of that. So we will assess any needs to make any changes there. So yes, that is a continuing project with the district regardless of what takes place at this time.
I'd also ask about the emotional toll. Parents, students have clearly been concerned about this and upset about this. Any plans to provide counselors and what's being done about the
Actually, yes, I can tell you that Principal Greitz and her staff have already put that in place. If students return to school tomorrow, we'll have counseling in place. Even if they don't return to school tomorrow, we will make sure they have options to reach out and talk to somebody. We actually had staff that were working with students today that were having some emotional issues while they were dealing with the situation as being part of reunification. So yes, that is absolutely part of the district's response plan in any emergency situation, to be honest, and will continue as part of this one as well, too. Yes, sir.
Thanks, Jeff. So the elementary was closed today out of precaution. The construction on the middle school next door was proceeding throughout the day. So I wanted to find out, was there any discussion as far as whether the work that's being done on the middle school should have been suspended for the day?
So the work that's being done there is also being provided by outside contractors. They would make determinations of whether they would pull their staff off. We have not had those conversations with them at this time, so I'd have to check and see what determinations they made. I don't know if they continued working or not working today. We would have to look into that. Yes, ma'am.
Now that you have another middle school coming into the area, this is where a lot of students are going to be in the area. How can you guarantee student safety if more students are going to be coming here and we don't know what the future is going to be if Silfab continues operations or not?
Well, I think you heard a very clear statement from our superintendent and from our board chair. We're asking that operations cease at this facility and that it no longer move forward with operations. Hang on, she actually had her hand up first.
Anything you want to say to parents right now who are still shaken up?
Absolutely. As you heard, both Superintendent and Chairwoman Spears mentioned that obviously we know this has caused concern. We know that this has caused concern before today, but actually having these events happen is going to cause even more concern and unease. And we want to make sure we know that our district and school staff will be there for both our families and our parents. And that at this point, in light of the events that have actually taken place, the district will remain committed to seeing the ceasing of operations at the facility. Yes, sir.
My question is for Representative Martin, if I may, since you're here, Representative Martin. You have pushed against this for a long time, including the last 3 days. However, the school district and the South Carolina Department of Environmental Services and York County Emergency Management have either given mixed messages or not given accurate information for 3 days. The initial spill was the release number was 1530, and it took you calling them for them to correct it, make it 300. The concern is Silfab, and I'm asking, Silfab is providing this information, correct?
I believe so, yes.
How do we know that it's accurate? How does anyone watching this, reading this out there have any idea that what Silfab is telling York County Emergency Management, South Carolina Department of Environmental Services, or the school district is accurate today?
Great question. I don't trust anything Silfab says at this point. They've had every opportunity to do the right thing in this community for over 2 years. I have been advocating for a full stoppage at that facility, and they move elsewhere. When they got the order from SCDES that they could no longer what they called commission equipment, meaning that you're testing equipment to get it ready for some type of production, which DES says is 6 months from now. They had the opportunity to stop that. And then it is clear that this morning there was some other type of leak that occurred with hydrofluoric acid, from what I understand. So I don't really trust what I'm being told from Silfab. I have not actually heard verification that it was 1530 or 300. Nobody has came to me and said this is the exact number. And that's exactly why SCDES has been investigating them over the last few days to find out exactly what the truth is. And that's what needs to happen. And that's why I called SCDES. Myra Reese, I've been on the phone with her since 6:45 this morning. I don't know, as soon as I found out that something was going on. I have been on the phone nonstop with her along with Senator Johnson to ask for transparency, accountability, and that everybody in Fort Mill and across our state understands what happened and ultimately who's going to be responsible for that. And so until they finish their investigation and until the EPA finishes their investigation, which they're starting on Wednesday of what I've been told of next week, once that happens, I can't wait to find out what the truth actually is at this point. But if Silfab's saying it right now, I absolutely am not believing it.
As a follow-up, I'm not sure if other people, I don't want to take up all the time, but for you, school district, or anyone else, when people, and I'm a Fort Mill parent, I put 3 children through this school district, why should they put their child on a school bus tomorrow morning when the information that they're receiving is coming initially from Silfab, which by all accounts has the spill. It's coming either through 1, 2, or 3 filters until it gets to the public, and these parents make decisions about their children.
Again, a great question. You know me, Andrew. I've known you for a long time. I have a daughter in Fort Mill schools. I'm a product of Fort Mill schools. It's sad that I have to stand here today. It's sad that any of these people behind me have to stand here today and speak up about this, what I believe is an atrocity that should never have happened here in a great school district and a great community. Our parents should feel confident that when they send our kids to school, they're safe. All they need to focus on is being able to study. And unfortunately, this company has came in and has not done things the correct way and has caused a disruption in that on a daily basis. I fully trust every single thing these people behind me tell me. Unlike the information that you just asked me about, I trust everything that Gray Young and these people behind me tell me. I've known this man for 20 years, 20 plus years actually. And if they're giving me information, I absolutely trust what they tell me. If they feel comfortable to open up the school tomorrow, I would feel comfortable with that as a parent, in my opinion. I'm excited to see what happens at 4 o'clock today. Either Silfab has the opportunity to do the right thing and be a good neighbor in this community, or it's clear that they have no intentions of being a good neighbor in this community. And if they do not want to be a good neighbor and they do not want to comply with our highest agency that regulates them, they need to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. I have contacted the Attorney General's office. They are looking at every legal parameter here that can be taken, and that would be my next step of what I intend to do, is contact the AG and work with them.
One more question?
Absolutely. Yep.
And it dovetails into what you just said. You're a state representative, but anyone can call 911. Anyone can call the law at any time. Has anyone asked the Sheriff's Office or SLED to open up a criminal investigation into what has happened the last 3 days?
I will tell you, I have personally been in contact with our sheriff, Sheriff Breeden. I have personally been in contact with the Attorney General's office. I would like to see a full investigation done for everything, right? I want to know what happened at this facility. I want to know how this happened. I want to know who was responsible, whether that's just on to confirm through DES that operationally things were done, or whether there's any type of other cover-up or criminal action that's happened at that location. I expect full transparency and accountability from anybody involved, and that's what I seek to find. Absolutely, yes, sir.
Andrew, I appreciate the question. I think it's important to understand that when this call came in very late last night, we cannot, as a school district, get in the practice of calling 911 from an outside facility. If they have information that there is something going on in that facility, they need to call 911, and that was the advisement that they received. They called more than just me. They called other people. They received
You
it.
advise that member of the public, call 911, let people do their job.
Correct. And when 911 is called to a facility like that, York County Emergency Management is notified. Then we usually are notified by York County Emergency Management. So when at 5:50 this morning, I sent a text to York County Emergency Management asking for information. That information at first was there is no active spill. Then once calls were made, I was called at 6:53 a.m. And that's when we started talking about making the decision to cancel schools. We decided at 7:02 a.m. to cancel schools. At 7:05, students would be getting out of their cars and getting off those buses. So the timeline was very quick. And we did not feel comfortable with the information that we had at the time to allow Flint Hill Elementary School to have school today. So that's why we made that decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, unless there are any other pressing questions for the school district as far as our operations go, I think we're gonna end our press conference here. If you do have additional questions for the school district, feel free to send those to me. If you have additional questions, obviously, I assume for some of our other representatives in the room here today, you can certainly reach out to them. We appreciate you coming here today, and thank you very much for your time.
Before you go, you said at 4 o'clock, Silfab is gonna make their